Welcome to Pilates on the water, and today we're in another beautiful flower meadow, as you can see from behind me, and we're going to focus our session today on glutes and hips. So if you've had any issues with your glutes not firing or supporting your hip joints, today's session is for you. We're going to start off the session with our feet a little bit wider than our hip width normal position. Just turn those toes out slightly and bring a bit of softness to your knees. We're engaging our core, of course, and just gently lifting the pelvic floor and just finding those core muscles in that upright stance. Relaxing your shoulders down, and we'll just take a few deep relaxation breaths to begin. A nice full breath in through the nose, lengthening the spine, reaching tall into the crown of your head, and then opening the mouth to exhale. Don't forget, as you breathe out, we're using that outward breath to just find those tummy muscles, drawing the belly button towards your spine. And again, a lovely full breath in, and then exhale. Now just keeping those knees soft, we're going to wrap the arms around and just swing them around, let the hips go, relax the shoulders, relax the arms, just wrapping the body and taking a few gentle twists from side to side. Keep those deep even breaths going, and a couple more. Well done. And then coming back to center. Knees still soft, we'll circle those hips, a few little hip circles, and just growing tall through the body, just minimizing the movement through the shoulders and taking those hips a little wider around your feet. Again, just keeping those deep breaths going and breathing, finding those tummy muscles as you go, and then circling back the opposite way. And a few more hip circles, just keeping them nice and wide and smooth, feeling that through the waist and also your back, and then coming back to center. Well done. A little softness through the knees as we circle those arms around. Nice inward breath as we sweep those arms wide. A little dip and inhale, and again and inhale. Just two more, and one more. Well done. Now we're going to leave those arms out wide. Just bring them a little lower than your shoulder height and transfer the weight across to one side. Your supporting knee is nice and soft, and we're just going to do a few little taps with the toe on the opposite leg. Just starting to feel those muscles to the side of the hip working. Stay nice and tall. You don't need to lift the leg too high. And again, little tap up. Well done. Now can we do a small tap in front, circle it, and a small tap behind. A little tap in front and a little tap behind. And again, supporting knee, stay soft. And two more, and a little tap behind, and one more in front, circle back, transfer to the opposite leg, and we'll start off with just those little taps. So a small lift away from the mat. Keep your supporting knee nice and soft, stay tall, and just start to feel those muscles to the side of the hip. And one more. Well done. And then the little tap in front, circle, semicircle, and again in front, and semicircle. Two more little semicircles there, and one more. Just warming up through those hips. Well done. Transfer the weight. Now we're going to take that even wider. Step out with the toes, out with the heels, out with those toes, and we're coming into a wide squat. So taking your tail back behind, opening the knees, chest is out into the squat, and then lifting the pelvic floor and really squeeze those glutes on the way up. Sitting down and back, weight is in your heels, and up. And again, and up. Now this time we'll take a small reach across to the side. Over we go. and lengthening through the side of the body. Deep squat. And up and over. Stretch into that deep squat. Lengthening the whole side of your body all the way over. And down. Up and over. Hold it here. A little lift of the opposite heel. So now we're going to come down into the heel and lift. It's just a small move. Lower and lift that heel. Lower and lift. Holding your side reach and lift. Well done. Lower it down. Come back to front. Come down into your squat and to the opposite side and hold it here. We're going to do the same on the other side. Lifting and lowering that opposite heel. Lift and lower. Just hold the stretch. Lifting the heel. Lower. 2 more. Well done. 1 more. Very nice. And come down. Now we're going to walk the feet just a little bit wider if you can, and if you've got any kind of restriction in your hip area, you can stay a little bit taller, and we're just going to turn one knee out to the side. Just open that knee, but bring the hips and the shoulders to face the front. Just a little stretch through the hip. If you haven't got any immobility in your hip and your hip is in good functioning order, then instead we're going to come a little deeper into the squat. Take the hands across to one side, straighten out the opposite leg, and just use your elbow to push that knee out a little bit wider for that adductor stretch there. And then coming up. And we'll do the same on the opposite side. So your level 1 is just an opening of the knee, just encouraging that opening out of the hip area, but keep those shoulders and hips facing forward. Just the one leg is bent. Or we can come a little bit deeper, bring those hands to the inside of the foot and use your elbow to just ease that knee a little bit wider. And then coming back up. Well done. Now we are going to keep the feet wide, so just make sure you've got a nice stable base. Reach up with those arms, lengthen, and we're going to interlock the thumbs above the head for a clock stretch. Reaching the arms of your clock out to the side, towards one foot, down to the center, rotate the palms all the way around, and leading up with a little finger on the opposite side, keeping your palms facing the front. And the opposite way, reaching out from the body, palms are staying facing the front. When you get to 6 o'clock, rotate it all the way around and lead up with that little finger on the opposite side. 1 more each way. Inhale and stretch it out. Palms facing forward. Rotate 180 at 6 o'clock and lead up with the little finger on the opposite side. Last time around. And all the way up to the top. Well done. Bring those arms down and walk your feet back to your center position. So now to work those thighs and glutes a little bit deeper, we're going to do a clock lunge. Just starting off then in your central position on your mat, take a large step forward with one leg, bending the knees and just lunging down. I'm going to push off the heel and stretch up tall to center. Out to the side, a bend and push. Pivot on your leg, step behind. Lunge and center. Let's go to the other leg, to the front. Push down, step up to the side. Bend, spring off that leg and to the back. Pivot behind and back to center. Let's go again. And push to the side and push, stretch, pivot back and stretch, other leg to the front, up, out to the side, up, behind, and up. Now we're going to take it a little bit deeper if you can, reaching to the floor this time, all the way up, down to the floor, and up, out behind, really getting that heart rate up, to the front, down we go, side, and back, and you should start to feel those glutes and thighs. Last time, front, stretch, side, reach it down and back, other leg to the front, push and side, and to the back, last time, and well done. Lovely deep breath in and exhale down. Now carefully coming down onto your mat, we're finding our neutral spine position, and then just bring the feet in a little bit closer with your heels in line with your sit bones. We're getting ready for some pelvic curls, warming up our glutes and our tummies and our backs a little bit more now. Bring your arms down by your sides and lengthen into those fingers. Now try and reach back into your mat with your shoulders. I've got a little bit of bumpy ground here, but hopefully you'll be able to see okay. We'll take an inward breath, and for our first pelvic curl, as you breathe out, just begin with a little pelvic tilt. So you're just drawing your belly button downwards in towards your mat, tilting your pelvis a little bit back towards you, tightening and finding the tummy muscles, and then on the inhalation, returning the pelvis back to that level, neutral position. We'll do a couple of those, and then we're going to start to unpeel a little higher each time. On the next exhalation, we'll tilt and then begin to unpeel your tailbone and just a small part of your lower back. Now we need to be curling away from the mat with the lower spine first. Inhale to return back to neutral. So we're not unpeeling very far to begin with. Make sure you keep your head and neck in line as you do these. You're nice and long through the back of the neck, and those shoulders are remaining flat. Let's go again, exhaling and just unpeeling a little bit of the lower back. Inhale and repeal. As you exhale to unpeel, we're now coming a little bit higher away from the floor. So you just start to feel a small gap underneath the lower back. Keep the middle of the spine in contact as you unpeel. Exhale and again tilt, unpeel lower back, and this time a little higher. We're unpeeling the middle of the back, and we've got a deep contraction through the belly, and then repeal slowly back down. Now I'm going to unpeel a little bit more. Exhale, tilt, lower back, middle back, and we're starting to work that pelvic curl a little higher, unpeeling a little more of the spine. As you unpeel, we're pressing down with the backs of those arms. Inhale to return. Exhale and even higher. The tailbone should feel like it's the highest point. And now I'm going to bring my feet in a little bit closer, just to give me a little bit more support from those legs. On the last one, tilt, exhale up, and just hold your bridge position. We're going to lift those heels. Just lift the heels away from the mat, coming up onto your toes, and return the heels. We're holding our static bridge now, lifting and lowering the heels, and just feeling those glutes working. Keep your knees in line, don't let them drift to the outside. Keep your arms and wrists nice and flat, and exhale, lift the heels. We'll just do one more. Exhale and lift. Inhale to return. Exhale, repeal, upper, middle, and lower spine. Well done. Really warming up those glutes nicely. Now I'm going to take the arms a little bit wider, so into a low V, reaching out a little bit to the sides of the mat, and also walking the feet, the toes out a little bit wider as well. So toes out, heels out, and I've got a wider stance now with those legs. Unpeel to the top of your bridge. I'm pressing down with those arms, all the way down into the hands, and a little pulse just halfway down, and squeeze the glute to the top. And again, a little pulse just halfway. Exhale and really feel it in the glutes. Give them a good squeeze to the top. 2 more. Exhale, squeeze, lift your tail. 1 more. Exhale and squeeze. Now hold it there. We're going to swing the hips all the way across to the right, up and over, all the way across and slightly down to the left. So with your tailbone, you're drawing a little rainbow shape now, up and over to one side. Hip swings, up and over and swing, up and over and swing. 1 more, up and over and swing. Last time. Well done, and up to center before we re-peel all the way to the bottom. Now extend your legs down the mat, and we're going to do that little pelvic tilt back to just find the mat underneath the middle of the spine, engaging your ribs. We'll inhale, exhale. Bring the chin towards your chest, a head nod, lengthen toward your fingers, and slowly uncurl into your seated position. Well done. Now I'm just going to bring the hands a little bit behind the body now, turn the fingers out to the corners, and a micro bend in those elbows. Shoulders are back, lift your chest, and we're going to lift the hips a little bit away from the floor. Just stretching them up. Squeezing the tail high and lower, and just starting to feel those hamstrings working there. And again, just lifting the hips a little bit away from the floor and slowly lower. Try not to tip your head back, but keep that neck in the neutral position. And 1 more, just a little hip hitch up away from the mat. And lower. Well done. Re-peel using those tummy muscles. We're coming into a half roll back next onto our elbows. So just placing the hands a little bit behind your hips, shoulders are back, chest is lifted. Inhale to reach into the crown of the head, sitting tall. Exhale, scooping in with the belly to find your C curve, and slowly lowering yourself back down onto your elbows. Now, we don't want to be resting too heavily on those elbows, so at any point you should feel that you can just lift the elbows a little bit away from the floor, because we're working those tummy muscles rather than leaning heavily into the shoulder and elbows. Place the elbows a little bit further back for some extra support, and we've just got some simple leg floats. Lengthening the back of the neck, engaging the abs. We'll inhale to reach the leg up, pointing those toes. Flex the foot and exhale to lower. Stick with that same leg. Point, reach into the toes with a pointed foot. Flex the foot and lower. And we'll go again, 2 more. Inhale up, flex, exhale, lower. Feel the tummy working here as well. Inhale up, flex and lower. Other side now for 4. Inhale, flex and lower, point, lift, flex, lower. Leg float 2 more times. Breathing in, breathing out. 1 more. Well done. Now we're going to just lengthen those fingers. Use your tummy muscles to hold you there, and slowly lower the upper spine, shoulders and head back down onto your mat. Now we're in our lying position and we're going to repeat our leg floats, engaging your core, making sure we've got the rib cage drawn down, the belly button towards the small of the back, and those tummy muscles are nice and taut, and we're lifting the pelvic floor towards the center. And in our lying position, same thing. We'll inhale to reach, flex the foot, exhale, lower, point and lift, flex and lower. 2 more floats. Press down into the mat with the back of your head, both arms, your belly and your bottom leg. Other side. Inhale, flex, exhale. 2 more. 1 more. Well done. Now bringing those feet back into the shoulder bridge position. You might want to bring those heels a little bit closer to the sit bones so you've got a little bit more support from those legs. Lengthening the arms, inhalation to prepare, and exhaling to tilt, unpeel to the top of your bridge. Now we're going to repeat those floats in our shoulder bridge position. Pressing down with the backs of the arms, we'll unpeel one heel, stretch up, flex, down towards the floor, and we're keeping that pelvis as level as you can and as nice and still and central as you can as well. 2 more. 1 more. Well done. Other side, step under, lift the heel, stretch. Well done. Keep breathing. 2 more. 1 more. And re-peel. Well done if you manage those. Inhale. Just lift that tail a little bit higher. Ready to re-peel. Exhale. Upper, middle, lower spine. And lastly, releasing those glutes. So we've changed position now onto our side, and we're going to just work the side glutes a little bit and open the hips further. On your side, bring your shoulders quite close to the back edge of your mat and your hips as well. We can have the feet just slightly in front of the body, so you've got a small curve. Make sure your hips are vertically stacked with your top hip forward directly above that bottom hip. It's very important that this hip doesn't sneak off towards the back wall, and we're engaging these waist muscles. Now you can either place your elbow and shoulder and head in one line to open up underneath the chin here, or you could rest your head down on your bicep or place your towel between your head and your bicep. But try to avoid grabbing hold of your head or drawing it forwards in front of you. Starting off then with your little leg floats. We've got the top hand in front for a little extra support, engaging the core. We'll inhale, reaching up into the toe, flex and bring those heels together. Really touch down with those heels. Point up, flex and heels to touch. Point, lift, flex and heels. 1 more. Inhale, flex, exhale. Now point that top leg, we're going to lift it all the way up, reach over and just tap the floor in front of your mat. All the way up and reach it down behind you. A little rainbow leg. And up and tap towards the back. Reach it all the way out of the body, lengthening to the very tips of those toes. Reach it behind a mat. Up and in front of the mat. And behind the mat. And 1 more in front. Well done. Now hopefully you can really feel those glutes working. Now take that top leg and bend the knee and place the knee and the foot down in front of you. And with our bottom leg now, we're going to work the inner thigh. So some little lifts straight up towards the ceiling using the inner thigh and down. And again, exhale and down. an adductor, lift. And 2 more. And 1 more. Well done. So now it's time to change ends and work the other side of the body. Coming up, taking the feet across to the other end, and just finding that position on the mat with your hips and your shoulder. Extending the feet to the front corner of the mat, just to create a gentle curve, engaging the waist, hips are stacked, top hand in front. And we just started off with those little leg floats. So reaching up, flex and drawing those heels towards each other. Float and flex. Stretch and flex. Stretch. Reach into those toes. And 2 more. Squeeze those heels. 1 more. Squeeze. Well done. Little rainbow legs now. Start up in the center, tap in front of the mat, up and all the way behind you as far as you can reach. You can take your time on these. Get the maximum stretch all the way to the tip of your toe. Watch those hips. Keep them stacked. Nice deep breath as you reach away. Can we do 2 more? And 1 more. Well done. And then we'll bring that knee, bend it, place it down on the mat in front of you. Make sure your knee and your foot are both down firmly, and lifting that bottom leg and squeezing the inner thigh to lift. Just hold it there for a second or 2. Exhale, lift, control it on the way down. Don't just let your leg flop back down onto the mat. And let's do 2 more. And 1 more. Very nice, well done. Now we've changed position and starting off in a kneeling position in the center of your mat. I'm going to take one leg out to the side. Now try and place the knee and the hip in line more or less with your shoulder, and just in this position here I flex the foot and opened up through the hip area. Now be careful your butt doesn't sneak off to the back. So it's important that the tail is staying underneath the body in a line with your knee, hip and shoulder, and we're really reaching up to open up through this hip flexor. Heel is also in line with the body. So try to avoid this position here where your butt has snuck off to the back and we're reaching forward here with the body. Stay nice and tall and upright. And then lengthening those fingers out to the side, press the shoulders down, using the core muscles, lift your pelvic floor as we take a T shape across to the side. I'm just going to touch down with those fingers and then place the heel of the hand down onto the mat. Fingers can then come onto the top hip, but be careful the shoulder doesn't rotate to the front. Stretch out the toes now for some little leg lifts, squeezing this side glute. Exhale to lift. Now if you're struggling with this leg lift and you can't get your foot to lift away from the mat, try bending your knee and just moving the knee up and down in that bent position. So you can just modify that move slightly. Otherwise we've got 2 more and then 1 more. Well done. I can feel those side glutes working. Now place the flexed foot down onto the floor and we've got a little thread the needle in this position. Before you go, step your knee just a little bit out, away. Bring that butt underneath and we've got a half plank position. Reaching underneath the armpit to the back and inhale all the way to the ceiling. Exhale under the armpit and inhale up. And we can keep our half plank position for the whole of the next few moves. Alternatively, see if you can step out into your full plank, continuing with your threading the needles. And we'll do 2 more after this one. And 1 more. Well done. Now we've got 4 hip hitches. If you're in your half plank, exactly the same, just a slight lowering of the hips. Exhale to press them up. A little lower. Exhale, push. 2 more. And push. And just 1 more. Well done. If you're in your full plank, return the knee underneath the body. And we're coming up through our T shape, back to center. Release it down. Well done. Let's go to the opposite side then, starting off with those knees in the center and taking the foot out. Make sure that butt is tucked in. We're opening up through the hip flexor and then reaching out those arms to the side. Chest is lifted. Engaging the core, lifting the pelvic floor. Take your T shape all the way across, just touching down with those fingertips. And then the heel of your hand, reaching up. Placing those fingers on the top, stretch out those toes, little leg lifts. Exhale to pulse the leg up. Keep the shoulder back. And again. And press. Remember, if you need to, bend your knee and press with that bent leg. And stretch. And 1 more. Well done. Placing the foot flat down onto the mat. Just step out a little way with your knee into your half plank position. Now tuck your butt in. For those, thread the needles underneath and lengthen. Exhale through. Inhale up. And if you want to, we can step out with that bottom leg now to continue the thread the needle. And 1 more. Well done. 4 little hip hitches. A little lower and a lift. And exhale, push. Exhale. 1 more. Exhale, press. Bring that knee underneath and get ready to come up onto those fingertips and back to center. Very well done if you manage those. Give those shoulders a little roll out. So we're back to working those glutes quite hard, coming down now for our level 1 in prone position. So just folding the hands one on top of the other and then placing your forehead down onto the back of your hands. Try and rest the shoulders down towards the mat and lengthen the back of your neck, engaging your tummy muscles and squeezing your glutes. We've got the knees quite close together and we need to keep the hips and pubic bone down flat on the mat. Bending one knee to 90 degrees, flex your foot. Importantly, we're keeping the hip down and on the exhalation, just a small lift of the thigh and the knee a little bit away from the mat and lower. A bent leg glute raise. And we're using this glute muscle at the back to lift that leg. Try not to unpeel your hip though. It's just the thigh and the knee moving away from the mat. On this next one, hold your lift, extend your leg, and now point your toes. Straight leg raise. Exhale to lift. And 3 more. No bend at the knee. Just coming from the glute. We'll do 2 more. Exhale. And 1 more. Well done. Other side then. Knees are close. Bend the knee to 90 degrees and flex your foot. We're pressing the flat of the foot towards the ceiling and then lowering. We're unpeeling the thigh and the knee, but trying not to unpeel the pubic bone or the hip. Exhaling as you press the sole of your foot straight up towards the ceiling, but keeping the body level with your mat. Hold your lift on the next one. Extend your leg out, point those toes. Lower, exhale, lift. Stretch and lengthen the leg as you go, and avoiding any bend at the knee, so that this move comes directly from the glute. We'll just do one more. Well done. Now you can repeat in this position if your knees are not so great, or come with me onto hands and knees now, and we're going to repeat the same exercise in our all four position. Make sure we've got 4 lovely square legs of a table, and then lengthening the back of the neck, pushing into the heels of your hands. Knees are under the hips, wrists are under the shoulders. This time we're going to lengthen the leg first and then lift it up. Bend the knee, flex the foot. Little presses towards the ceiling, but we're trying not to move or allow the pelvis to become unlevel as we do these. Just do 2 more. 1 more. Hold that lift. Point and stretch. Straight leg raise. Exhale. Exhale. 2 more. Lovely straight leg. 1 more. Well done. And slide that knee underneath. Very well done. Let's go to the other side then, straightening out the leg. Give it a lift. Bend the knee 90. Flex the foot. Press. A little pulse towards the ceiling. And without shifting your weight. 2 more. And 1 more. Hold that lift. Extend the leg. Point those toes. And it's very important that leg stays lovely and straight. The hips stay still and level. We're not swinging them from side to side. We're maintaining that all square position. And 1 more. Well done. And slide it in. Just sit back on your heels for a moment and shake out those hands. Now we're going to work those abs again now. Coming back into prone position, and we'll start off just on the elbows for our little half elbow plank. Knees are down, elbows are directly underneath the shoulders, and I've just made a fist with those hands. Exhale and scooping the belly button towards the small of your back, pushing down and forward into those elbows, and we're finding that little half elbow plank. For some hip hitches, a small lower of the hips, exhale and come up. Now we're not lowering those hips all the way to the mat, they're only coming halfway down, and then we're lifting that tail, and again, and lift. Now there's your level 1, take a rest when you need to. Alternatively, tuck the toes underneath, lifting those knees, and hold your elbow plank. Hip hitch again, a small lift of the hips and back into your plank. Exhale, lift and back down into the plank. 2 more and 1 more. Level 3s, if you're up for it, onto those hands. Find your full plank position, and we've got 4. Hip lift and down into your nice flat plank. Exhale, hip hitch. Inhale. 2 more. Inhale. And 1 more. And inhale. Very well done. Lower those knees, and we're going to take the knees as wide as the mat. toes together to push back into your child's pose. Just walking the hands out, lengthening into those fingers. Chest is the lowest point, lengthening the back of the neck, reaching into the crown of your head and pressing that chest down. If you're struggling with your knees, remember, come over onto your back instead into the supine position. So here is our modified version of child's pose. Knees wide, toes together, and then lengthening those arms overhead. And we'll take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Well done. Now next we're going to stretch out those glutes a little bit. So come over onto your back, into your neutral spine position, ready to stretch out those glutes. We're going to take the ankle of one leg and just place it across the thigh of the opposite leg. Now make sure you flex your foot here, so you're reaching into the heel, and gently open the knee out. If your hip is in good order, you can apply a little bit of pressure with your hand, but if you've got a problem with your hip or you've had a hip operation or something like that, then don't apply any pressure, just gently rest the knee and you're opening it out to the side. Now we're going to take the arms out, palms are facing the ceiling, really stretch out those fingers and open the shoulders. Make sure though that your arms are below shoulder height, they're not up higher than the shoulder or level with your head. We'll take the knee across to one side and just rotate so you're resting on the side edge of one foot. We're not turning the head, and we're making sure the shoulders stay level and central. Don't let the opposite shoulder lift away from the floor. And slowly back to center. And take the heel down. Heel is moving towards the floor. Opposite shoulder is staying down, but the opposite hip is lifting away from the floor. Remember, your top foot is still flexed. So your heel should be the point that's touching down onto the floor. And slowly back to center. Now engaging those abs a little bit more, on the exhalation, float your bottom leg into tabletop position. Tabletop taps, keeping 90 degrees behind the knee of your bottom leg. Exhaling back to your central tabletop position, where your bottom knee is directly above your hip. One more. Hold your tabletop. Now this tabletop leg has still got 90 degrees behind the knee, and the knee is directly above the hip. The top foot is still flexed and sticking out some way. Take the knee all the way across again, maintaining your tabletop shape on your bottom leg. Now lengthen down the opposite arm and hand, reaching into those fingers. Exhale to center, and then taking the heel across to the opposite side. Stretching down that opposite arm all the way to the ends of those fingers. This is a very good pec stretch as well. Exhale back to center and lower. Well done. Now bringing your feet back to that neutral position, and we'll go to the other side. So the ankle goes across the thigh. The foot is sticking out a few inches. You're reaching into that heel. Open the knee, and you can give it a little bit of pressure there. Then we've got those arms just below shoulder height. Take the knee that's sticking out all the way down to the floor. We're rolling onto the side edge of the other foot, allowing that hip to lift away. Exhale back to center, drawing the belly button down towards the floor. Nice deep breath in and Exhale across. Reaching that heel, dig it into the floor. Breath in and then exhale to center. Lengthen the back of the neck, keep that chin down, and we've got those tabletop lifts up into the tabletop. Now your bottom foot, the toes are pointed. That bottom knee, the knee is directly above the hip. A few little taps, exhaling up. And maintaining 90. 2 more. 1 more. Hold your tabletop. We'll take this knee all the way across to the side, directly to the side, maintaining tabletop leg with that bottom knee. 90 degrees. Reach out into the fingertips on the opposite side. That shoulder stays down, down, down. Exhale to center. All the way across. Shoulders stay level, head is level. Lengthen into those fingertips. How far can we go? And exhale. Well done. And then lower it down. Let's just relax the feet. Open those knees, soles of the feet together, and just allow that back to completely relax for a few moments. And take some nice, easy breaths. Well done. Lengthening the feet down your mat, and just relaxing those hands and fingers. Ready for some relaxation.
In today's relaxation, we're going to spend a few minutes on a short guided visualization. In a comfortable lying position, relax your body and your facial muscles. Close your eyes softly and allow your breathing to become slow and easy. Focus on your breaths. They should feel gentle, but flowing smoothly and constantly without a break in the movement of air. Your body moves softly as the air moves in a continuous and even flow, in and out. Imagine now that you are walking in a beautiful outdoor space. You are deep in the rural countryside, where there are large open fields and meadows, mature woodland, forest streams, and luscious hedgerows. You are wandering slowly through a beautiful meadow that is filled with wild flowers. Above your head, high in the sky, you can hear the constant song of the skylarks. In the trees and hedgerows, other birds are singing merrily. The sun feels warm on your face, but there is a cool, refreshing breeze, gently ruffling your hair and your clothes. You feel the breeze on your face and softly on your lashes. You hear it crossing your ears. The wind presses against the field of flowers in large waves, coming and going, sighing and rustling as it sweeps across the fields, through the grasses and the vegetation. You pause for a while, taking in the beauty of the large, open and endless space. The view goes on for miles and miles. Enjoy the feeling of the wider open space, far off horizon, and distance between yourself and the nearest objects or boundaries. Breathe in deeply, taking in some full, continuous breaths. The air feels cool, fresh and clear as you breathe it in. There is no pollution, just the fragrant smell of the grasses and the heady scent of the fresh flowers around you. The widened vista gives you a sense of space and freedom. There is more room for your thoughts and feelings to spread out. You feel looser, more open, less contained. Allow the pressures of life to spread out and evaporate, disappearing away from you towards the distant horizon. Notice your body becoming more relaxed as you allow the tension to escape, your jaw to slacken as you take some deep, purifying breaths. You continue your leisurely stroll now, placing one foot in front of the other, treading lightly and easily, your fingers softly brushing the tops of the grasses and the waxy petals of the flowers. Bees and butterflies play in front of you as you walk. The clouds cast their slow-moving shadows across the fields. Enjoy the scenery for a few more moments as you take your leisurely stroll through the field of flowers. Now take a deep breath, filling your lungs with oxygen-filled countryside air. Let your breath out slowly and then begin to return to the room, becoming aware of your surroundings once again. Take with you a feeling of space and distance. You have more room in your mind, a sense of openness, calmness. The feeling of space and distance around you allows you to feel that you have more time to spare and more room to think.